Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Hot Pole Podcast. I'm your host, Adam Steele, and joining me is surprised YouTube thumbnail face, Liam Wright.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm tired.
You're tired. I'm double tired.
I've been working too.
That's true. We have both been on a film shoot all day.
Yeah, and I know you've been like in other countries and stuff, but I've been working in this country.
That's fair.
But I mean, I definitely think you warrant being more tired than me. I will give you that. But I am also tired.
It's been a long week. It's been a good week, and I just want to say thank you to Henning and Leslie and everybody at 42 Gear Street, because it was an absolutely fantastic thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I could now sleep for a week, but I cannot.
Yeah, I would say that I've been hearing all about it, but it seems like most of it was a blur to Adam. He's having to go back through his memory cards to remember what happened.
Yeah, absolutely right. I was full of a cold when I got there, so I was kind of on another planet. We got all tested and that kind of stuff. So it's not the dreaded C19. It was definitely just a regular old cold. But when you're running around like I was running around, I felt when I left like I hadn't done much. Like I'd made 3 or 4 videos, and I looked through the footage and I've actually made 9. Maybe even 10, because Brown's still got one on his SSD that I need to get back. So yeah, it was a mad week, and we met some lovely brands. And yeah, new pedal day, as the headline suggests. So I'm about to wave something in camera that nobody else has.
Ooh.
Big and shiny and gold. Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
There's
this...
the Amplitude on it.
It does. This is the new Amplitude X Vibe pedal.
Ooh.
X Vibe. A couple of weeks ago, we talked about these on the podcast because they were the new news announcement. And so, yes, there are 2 of each of the pedals in the world right now. My good friend Jamie Humphries from Six String Alliance has 1 of everything because he's been an IK Multimedia Amplitude guy for years and years. He works with them closely. And then 4 of us were given 1 each of these. And being the bass player and the guy who does all modulation-y stuff, I was given the X Vibe.
Ooh.
So I get to play with all the new sounds and toys.
Have you had to play with it at all yet?
I have. I made a video with all the pedals while I was there. Brief, but I got to play with them. And I have to say, I was actually quite impressed. We were saying on the podcast that we weren't sure whether it'd be kind of like a Strymon knockoff, but turns out they're actually pretty good. So yeah, there's you get 2 presets on the front. There's a tap tempo for all your weird wow stuff, and yeah, there are a couple of the sounds on here as well that I don't particularly like, but there are 16 different modulation sounds, so that's gonna happen. And so yeah,
and horses for courses as well. Like
absolutely. Yeah, there's going to be a couple of them on there where I go, whoa, don't like that. And a couple of people go, that's exactly what I've been looking for.
Well, yeah, and like that old Boss pedal of mine that's in the studio that was sat there for years with the, do you remember how awful that is? And then from a couple of sessions, you went, I know what this needs.
Yes, exactly that. And so, yeah, the thing that really is interesting is apparently they're making a plug-in version of exactly this. Which means not only can you get the exact tones you're looking for without physically having it, but then if you do get the sounds you're looking for, you can upload them straight to this.
Ooh.
So yeah, if you're playing with sounds on a mixing laptop setup or whatever, and then you go out on tour, you just load them up.
So are they sound any different on the hardware?
Apparently not, but I'll have to try it because that software isn't even finished yet, apparently.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, this is real pre-release stuff. This is, yeah, there's no serial number on the back of this because it's, yeah, proper pre-release.
So we gear like this then, what's the benefit of, other than what's the benefit of running that rather than having a laptop on stage with a MIDI controller foot switch plugged in?
Simplicity, I guess. That you'll go from one pedal into this pedal, into the next pedal, and not have to have a whole complicated, expensive setup.
No risk of Windows updates halfway through your set.
No, and we noticed that the latency on these, because they are digital pedals, the latency is ridiculously low.
So then that makes it more complicated. You don't just need a laptop; you need a decent interface with a low latency.
Yeah, and
so then all of a sudden that plug-in isn't as cheap as it sounds anymore.
Exactly, yeah, and the latency on this is even lower than like the lowest that you'll get on an interface.
Okay, so that's the answer then, really,
yeah,
isn't it?
I think so. Yeah, we had 4 of these in a row, all the different colors, and there was no noticeable latency.
Cool.
Because it's not like trying to convert it into like a format a laptop can understand. It'll have a DSP chip, so it'll just go straight in and straight out, which is it's what you want if you're doing digital stuff live. You don't want that all holding you back. So yeah, I'll put a couple of teaser videos out shortly, but I'll be working with IK to give him a little bit of feedback. And
it looks well made.
Yeah, it's seriously solid stuff. It's been bashing around in my suitcase on our Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom return to England, and there's not even a single scratch on it. I'm really quite impressed. I didn't know what to expect, and as anyone who saw the podcast will know, I had my doubts. But I'm pretty impressed.
Yeah, and definitely not the sort of person that's not willing to be wrong.
No, and they're not giving me any money to say it's good either, so yeah, it's my thoughts are my own, as Fluff would say. But yeah, he's nice. So
Cool.
I'm going to be playing with it and showing you all the different stuff in the next couple of weeks, hopefully. Might be a few weeks, depending on when they can get updated firmware to me, because they did say they're still working on it. But yeah, lovely people as well, and that's one of the things about Gear Street. I wish I could have done more live stuff from Gear Street. I did try a couple of times, as some of the viewers will know. There were like I was hoping to do a live show in this Thursday slot last week, but the internet said no, and then the hardware had a bit of a breakdown, and oh boy. Eventually we just said, you know what, forget this. We'll do it the next day, and then we tried it, and then that didn't work either. So, yeah, eventually we gave up on it and thought, right, I'll get all the good footage that I can and do a proper podcast when I get back. So, hello, everybody.
If you're listening whilst driving, do so safely. Please do not comment again. I hope you are parked up or at least at a traffic light, but we appreciate your dedication. We know you are here in spirit.
Yes, driving safely is important. But yes, Gear Street was a massive week. I got to do a video with Paul Davids, who is the most lovely person I've met in a long time. Big, tall, daft Dutch guy. I say daft, he's not that daft, he's very smart, but just like, happy-go-lucky. 2.5 million subscribers. Yeah, really knows
average.
what he's doing. Yeah. And I went up to him on day one and said, "Hi, Paul. Would you like to do a video with me? We've got this this pedal from Walrus Audio that's not out yet, so I can't talk about it yet. But they have a new pedal." And he was like, "Yeah, okay." So,
Cool.
So we did.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, today's been a really big day for me as well. Do you want to know why?
Go on.
This is my first Frappuccino.
Ever? Congratulations.
A big day.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie, it's amazing.
It's a life-changing experience.
Yeah, this is all like the really important like music-related stuff. But how do you make because they just put ice in it, right? Ice and milk, and it comes out like a milkshake. I was having this debate with Ash.
They've got this magical machine. It is magic.
It does look. It's like magic. Like if I just got some ice and put it in a blender with milk, it's not going to come out like this, is it?
No.
No, it's magic. I'm well impressed. Anyway, back to the regular scheduled programming.
Yeah. So Marty in chat says, "Really, Paul is nice." Yeah, honestly, like when you've got YouTubers that get really big, you assume they're going to be a bit up themselves. They're going to be a bit in their own little world. And I have heard stories that a couple of those kind of YouTubers fit that description, but not Paul. He was really nice.
Nice.
Yeah, I actually got to have a jam with him on the Saturday night. I don't even think I've told you that we had a jam night at the hotel. They had a full stage set up and band and everything. Yeah, but being the only bass player there, I got to play with everybody.
Nice.
But yeah, Paul was the first to get up, and we did a kind of a standard blues kind of jam. And then we were thinking what to play, and he, without thinking, his hands just noodled and went diddle-diddle-doo-doo. And I just kind of started copying that on bass, and it was a really odd time signature. It's like diddle-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. And the drummer kind of jived in, and then we all just kind of just did this weird off-angle jazz improv for a couple of minutes, and that was a lot of fun. And man, he can really play. Raphael says, did you get to hang with Krenar? Yes, Krenar Silku, lovely dude. He was one of the newer channels at Gear Street. What a lovely guy. Albanian jazz player. Jazz blues. Yeah, a bit like, wow, okay. And yeah, Michiel's a bass player, yeah, but he wasn't at the hotel. He was doing his own thing, I guess. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, oh, sorry, I didn't get to get Poo Ninja's gem into the post office. They didn't even bring any gems that I saw, honestly. Ibanez were mostly pushing the new AZ series. Although I did get to play some of the new headless Ibanez basses, and they were lovely.
Yeah.
I got to play on Glenn Fricker's new Mother Fricker pedal. That was great. All the distortion. I played a 5-string bass with an aluminium neck through a Soldano 100 amp on full. And it hurts. It's that loud. It makes the walls rattle. But yeah, I can't remember who was doing the video on the Soldano at maximum volume, but oh yes, when that comes out, that is the funniest thing. Some of the guitarists just could not control 100 watts of high gain monster. But yeah, hello everybody, welcome. Gear Street was
Find a
great.
seat in the back.
Yeah, find yourself a seat, grab some popcorn. You may notice I do not have an alcoholic beverage tonight. Because, yeah, I drank my body weight in beer over a week, and I am now done.
Just say it's just done now.
Yeah, I may not drink again. Never say never, it's my wedding next week. But,
Yes.
yes, I'll be taking it easy, that's for sure. Because, yeah, things did get a little out of hand at one point. We almost broke one of Henning's hot tubs. There was a big one and a small one. I didn't realize the small hot tub was capacity 3, and at one point there was 7 of us in it. I felt really bad afterwards.
Why did you feel bad?
Because we all got told off. Because we nearly broke it.
Oh, right. I thought you were the one like, yeah, everyone get in here.
No, but
You're just one of the 7.
I was party to the destruction. Yeah.
So did you get told off by Henny?
Eventually, yeah.
Naughty school children.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh,
yeah,
that's funny.
One day I got a metal massage. There was a lovely masseur there, Benny, who massaged my leg so much I had a limp for 3 days. Turns out my right leg was just badly damaged, and he just kind of undid all the damage. But it's like, now I have to heal. And Henning's house is on a big hill, so I was running up and down the hill with a busted leg.
Oh no.
Ah, well. Yes, let's not post YouTube hot tub videos. On a related note, there is currently a bid on ebay.de for YouTuber bathwater from the hot tub. Belle Delphine style, with the profits going to charity.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that actually a thing?
Yeah. Yeah,
dear.
one of the guys, Chris Jupiter, he just got a water bottle and just filled it. And sausage soup.
Lol.
Lol indeed. So, yeah, if that sells, the money's going to Leslie's animal charity. So, it's all in good fun.
Link in the description.
Yes. Van Dien says, who got to wear the David shorts? That was Glenn Fricker. They were stuck like a marble statue with all its manhood on full display as a pair of swimming shorts. Yes, that was graphic. Let's put it that way. That hurt the eyes a little bit. So yeah, it was a really good week. There's a lot of great videos, a lot of great content coming out very soon. One last thing that happened is me and John Brown, when we were getting the plane back, we nearly didn't make it. We got to Frankfurt Airport 2 hours early. It was the Rev auctioned off. I don't think it sold yet. I'll check that. We all shared the eBay link wherever we could. I don't think it sold yet. It might have done by now. I'll have to check on that. But yeah, so we were in the airport and we got some stuff from the duty free and we're taking a while. Turned out we got to the wrong gate, which we still had time. Okay, so we find the right gate. Cutting it a little fine. Plane leaves in 15 minutes. Get to the gate. Can I have your paperwork, please? The amount of paperwork required to get back into England was stupid. We needed a vaccination, not a vaccination. Yeah, we needed our vaccination paperwork. We needed a test, a COVID test taken the day before in German and English, specifically and English. We needed a passenger locator form.
How do you do a test in a different language? What?
You ask the testing people if you can have the results in English as well, please.
Oh, right.
And they go, okay, here's an extra piece of paper. Fill that in as well. Gee, thanks. So, yeah, I did that. And then we had this passenger locator form, which was stupid long. Then we had to book ourselves a test, which I've just taken just now for when we land. And it turned out when they checked our paperwork that we put the wrong flight number on this passenger locator form. Just 2 numbers different between the flight that comes in and the flight that goes out. And instead of them being like, oh, we'll just scribble it out and put the right one on because that's fine, they were like, nope, you can't fly.
Oh.
At all. So they were like, oh, well, you'll have to rebook. The next plane's at 9 o'clock. Oh, no, the next plane's cancelled. The next plane's like 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. So I went, no chance. I'm just going to fill in another form. And by the time we'd negotiated that I was going to fill in another form, there was 8 minutes to get on the plane. And so my hands are shaking. I'm like, because I'm tapping it out on my phone. I don't have my laptop in my hands. And I'm filling in this whole flipping form. I've never typed with my thumbs so fast in my life. And with 2 minutes to spare, we got on the plane. Oh, jeez. They almost started taking our bags off. It was like, nope, got the form, sod all y'all, I'm getting on, goodbye. So it was a proper, like, rolling under the Indiana Jones kind of, the thing coming down and grab your hat. Yeah. So that was close, but we got there. And, oh boy. So, yeah, now I'm posting my test so that I can prove that I don't have the horrible alien virus. Anyway, I'm here to talk about the news.
Whee!
So we talk about the news?
Nah.
Okay, good night, everybody.
See ya.
Hey, everyone. The news.
The news.
Okay, I wanted to start off with this because it's a really feel-good news article. So, Jared James Nichols, well-known blues guitarist, guitar that he's called Dorothy, 1952 Gibson Les Paul Gold Top, comes back to life. This thing, I mean, look at the state of it on the left there. It was destroyed in the Washington, Illinois tornado in 2013.
Oh.
Yeah. So, yeah, look at the state of that.
Oh.
That is in a bad way. And it's one of the first gold top Les Pauls ever. So Jared James Nichols has taken it to an absolute expert guitar repairman. And yeah, he called it Dorothy because it had been in the tornado, like her Wizard of Oz. And so it's been completely redone, and look at that. Wow.
That's cool. It still obviously has the damage to it.
Yeah.
Right, so it's got some history. It doesn't look, they've not like completely redone every aspect of it. That's cool.
That's awesome. So yeah, the classic 52. It's one of the ones with the floating bridge as well, which is why there is no like post holes here on the original. You can see that the original bridge just kind of sat on top of the gold. It's a bit weird, but I can see why they changed that in later models because that'll be a real cow to keep in tune.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there you go. And there's a video of him playing it, which is, incredible. So well done, Jared James Nichols, for and his tech. What was his repairer's name? Joel Wilkins. Well done, those guys. But Ninja says, will it stay in tune now? Of course not. But but they can try. I mean, that bridge is just a lump of metal that's just held on by pressure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, good luck with that staying in tune. But yeah, there you go. So, well done them. Moving on. Strymon have confirmed they have a new purple pedal that is a phaser called the Zella. Or is it Zella? Zelza? Zelza. And so Strymon are doing, I'm guessing it's digital because Strymon are pretty much all do digital.
Yeah.
Digital phaser, that's just weird. But then, hey, digital phaser, he says that's just weird. Da 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 da. This has got 3 different phases in, all digital. So yeah, hopefully they sound good. Yeah, so there's voicing between phase and time. So that's got all the controls you could possibly want for a phaser. And it's got 6-stage and a 4-phase phaser that are both on pedals. If I remember rightly, 6-stage is a lot more obvious and a 4-stage is a lot more of that kind of classic kind of thing. So yeah, generally the more stages you put on a phaser, the more crazy it starts to sound. But yeah, there's lots and lots of controls on there. There's a barber pole mode, there's speeds and depths, negative, positive polarities. You can control it all with USB-C, so you can update the firmware with the cool new features when they come out. Good to know. Well, I don't know why it's got a mono or stereo mode switch, but that could be to do with using that as a stereo jack. Hello, Robin chat. Hello, everybody. Come in. And yeah, so this thing's got a 480 megahertz processor. So it's a 0.5 gigahertz processor for a single pedal. We're getting a bit crazy with this kind of stuff now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that, I mean, it's probably similar in the IK because that's to do this kind of heavy processing. You need these crazy like super scalar ARM processors. It's all DSP stuff now. So yeah, crazy. Out at the end of September. So check that out. Now, here's the next one. 512 Audio, who I've never heard of. The reason I've never heard of them is Warm Audio have made this as a spin-off company.
Right.
Affordable mics and headphones. Now, is it affordable or is it shuffordable? That's the question. So, yeah, there's Limelight Dynamic Microphones, $200. Skylight Condenser, $200. Academy Monitor Headphones, $100. So, yeah, we need to see how these sound because that is really quite low price for something that's basically an RE20 knockoff by the look of it. It could be not a knockoff at all. It could be a whole new design. But there's a certain heavy suggestion behind that. And so we'll have to see. Oh, the Skylight. That's a weird looking grill. I think I like it.
That's pretty.
Looks like a filter out of the vacuum. Yeah. Oh, boost around 5K. That could be dangerous. We'll see. We'll see how it sounds.
Boost at 5K. That's where most vocals are, isn't it?
That's a bit further up. That's where the S's are and the kind of harshness generally is.
Isn't that where you dip the 5K out of backing music to make room for audio, the vocal, don't you?
Depends.
Sorry for like speaking.
I don't know. 500, which is like much lower, is where I would do that. 5K is where there's kind of that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The real kind of bringing it out into your face. And they also have headphones. And they look like headphones. They've got a coily cable, though, which is cool.
Mm-hmm.
3-meter coiled cable and custom drivers. It sounds decent, then that's good money. $100. So we'll see. New company from Warm Audio, 512, and they make stuff that you can beat people with. So, moving on. I really like the look of this.
Ooh.
Is this the lightest custom PRS ever? So this is a real piece of art. This is a PRS hollow body custom, and this thing is entirely hollow. No magnetic pickups, no controls. It's got a piezoelectric output, and that's it. It's entirely hollow inside. They've put the dimples in where the knobs usually go, just so you can see the shape and the outline that that's a PRS.
Mm-hmm.
It weighs 3.9 pounds.
Ooh, that's not much.
That's 2 kilos. That's almost nothing for a whole guitar. It's entirely hollow inside. That's ridiculous. Spec'd by Ish Guitars. Yeah. And it looks like half of the weight is just in the hardware, like the jack plate and the bridge and the headstock. That's where half the weight is. 3.9 pounds. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure I'd buy one though, because I've just seen the retail price. Oh my lord.
Oof.
$13,500 US. Crikey. That's for a very, very specific customer. That's insania. Although,
did you just say where the picker was?
yeah, it's pizzo. It's in the bridge.
Oh, yeah.
So this will probably make some really nice acoustic sounds if you run it through like a Fishman Aura or something. I can imagine that being good for someone like, I don't know, someone like Chad Kroger, let's say, if he was, sounds silly, but let's say he's doing the acoustic songs in the middle of the night and doesn't want to pull out an actual acoustic.
Right.
That's the kind of thing that would be the like, look at me under the spotlight kind of guitar, which everything's for somebody. And yeah, scared to play it in case you break it. Yeah. Funny story, actually, Gear Street story. I was talking to Nick Huber Guitars. Specifically, I was talking to Nico Huber, which is that's Nick's son. Lovely lad. He's 20-something, young lad, and he's just completely unfazed by the price of instruments at all because his family's been making them forever. And like I was playing this Rietbergen bass, which had the most gorgeous flame neck, hollow body guitar, you know, the most exquisite, extravagant thing. And I'm putting it back on the shelf on the rack, like shaking almost. And he's like, don't worry about it. If you drop it, I'll just fix it. It's like, okay, cool. I would never think like that, but okay, you do you. And he's like, yeah, I appreciate you don't want to break stuff, but don't be so scared of it, because like I'll just make it I'll make another one. It's fine.
That's a really cool attitude.
Yeah, absolutely. They're really good people at Nick Huber. If only I could afford one of their guitars, I would definitely buy one. So that's on the cards for many years in the future. Because they're the kind of place where most of the guitars that they make that I would want are 10 grand and up. And that's just crazy money. But it's crazy money for me, but they hand make every instrument and they produce one finished instrument roughly one a day.
That's not a lot.
For the whole company, that is not a lot. For I think it's a team of 10 of them. They produce 300 and something guitars a year. So yeah, that's where your money goes, is all the experts, all the really good people doing the best job they can and not cutting any corners. Yeah. So there you go. I mean, some of them, like the Taiwanese or Indonesian Ibanez AZs. We're almost playing baseball with them, but if you break that they're just going to literally look at it and go, oh, that was good content. Here's another one. For the amount that they cost to build compared to like a Nick Huber. Yeah, so there you go. So yeah, if that's for you, maybe you've got back problems, maybe you just want the most ridiculously light guitar in the world that isn't just a travel guitar, there you go. Go get that. So, this is news that happened this week. Charlie Watts from the Rolling Stones has passed away at the age of 80.
Oh, I saw that, yeah.
Which really shocked me because I thought that all the members of the Rolling Stones had made some sort of deal that made them immortal. I swear that like Keith Richards is going to go on forever and ever. Really did sell his soul to the devil.
Oh, we also lost Sean Locke. No, it's not music related, but that was
We
really
did.
sad.
Yeah, that was very sad. For anyone who's in the US, Sean Locke was one of the most British comedians
Yeah.
of modern day.
It's very, very, very dry. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's good.
if you've got a kind of a dry sense of humor and you've not heard of Sean Locke, go and search out a few of his clips because he's just so funny. But yeah,
Like the most miserable comedian of all time.
yeah,
Like up there with, well, maybe Jack D takes that one, I don't know, but
yeah, but just in a really, really funny way. Yeah. So yeah, lots and lots and lots of people putting their hearts out. You can see which ones of them did the deal with the devil already in 1989. Yeah. Like young, already getting on a bit. And who?
well, that was in 1989.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
So yeah, that was then. And so yeah, there's a painting somewhere of Mick Jagger that's getting a lot older. Very Dorian Gray. But yeah, I mean, Charlie Watts was never a flashy drummer. A lot of people think that he wasn't very good, but I mean, how do you hold down the perfect beat for the Rolling Stones every night, over and over and over? And he did that. And did it well.
Yeah.
So he will very much be missed. So yes,
You will.
rest in peace, Charlie Watts. Now, onto a more nerdy topic. This is just weird. Swap pickups mid-gig with the new Reddit Guitars Voyager modular guitar.
That's cool.
Yeah. What on earth? I've seen a few guitars with like rotating pickups, so you can just go like schlunk and there's a different pickup that comes to the front. But I've not seen entire pickup sets be replaceable before. So yeah, there's humbuckers, there's single coils, there's all sorts of weird and wonderful stuff here. Oh, it looks like the volume control and setup is modular as well, so you can have like a Les Paul style control set, or yeah, there's different types of volume knobs, so you can turn the same guitar from a Strat to a Les Paul with a couple of clunks. That's the kind of guitar I would have loved to have seen at Gear Street, because that's weird enough that you want to talk about it.
Yeah.
We had some great guitars at Gear Street, don't get me wrong, but the nerd in me is like, I want to make a video on this. What the heck? Maybe
It's
even
really cool.
yeah. Just call in an excellent guitarist and do a video on it.
It almost makes me think, so like, is there any potential downside to this?
I can't think of anything. I mean, the cost of the guitar itself will have to go up a bit, I think, because
Yeah.
yeah, you're buying parts that have to be made, but those pickup modules are $200, so that's not a killer unless you want to buy all of them. But yeah, even the fact that it's got a really nice rounded cutout there means that it's not even ugly. It's not to me anyway.
Oh, I really like that. It's really cool.
I'm sure there are going to be people who say that's the most horrible thing I've ever seen, but I like that. It's an offset body, so it's got that kind of slightly Mustang jazz bass kind of offsetty thing going on.
Mm-hmm.
And an alt slight Jaguar Jagmaster thing going. Yeah, he's nice. So yeah, from Reddick Guitars. Go and check that out.
I'm down. I'm
All
down with that.
All the pickup blocks look like pedals. Poo Ninja's got a good point there. Yeah. But yeah, even in the middle of an epic song, just get the keyboard player to hold a note and you just stop playing and just go shlunk, shlunk, brow. Yeah. Crazy. Or just take 2 guitars on tour and while you've got one on stage, you text changing your pickups out. Yeah. Like a Variax only analog.
I mean, it almost feels like you could do it mid-song.
Yeah. If there's a little gap somewhere, that's the
Yeah.
thing, because it'll cut the signal.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like
Yeah.
during a solo or something.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, Reddick Guitars Voyager. Kind of want one. And the price is usually $1,800, pre-order for $1,500, and the pickup modules are priced at $200 each.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's actually like $14.99 rather than something 99, but I like to use rounded numbers.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go. Now, for a topic that has had much controversy in the last few weeks, Antelope Audio. Ooh, they've really, really upset some people. I think we talked about this last time.
Did we?
I think so. That Henning got really upset at Antelope because they were trying to charge $200 for a plugin for what should be basic functionality.
Mm-hmm.
And so they've not exactly been great in their response. But they've got new equipment coming out that is still a lot of money. This 1 unit rack is nearly €5,000. But this is the this is the Galaxy 32 Synergy Core. These are crazy. So this thing has 64 channels of Dante in and out, 32 channels of analog in and 32 analog outs. It's got another 8 ins and outs on ADAT. It's got another 64 ins and outs on MADI. So this thing is an absolute beast. Oh, and it's got Thunderbolt as well. So it's got everything. Oh, and even Pro Tools HDX ports if you want to use it with a Pro Tools rig instead of the big whole rack of Pro Tools stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So it's got all the ins and outs you could possibly want. Although the Galaxy 64 is twice its size, but a lot more money than that even. It's also got the Synergy Core effects, which is all like inbuilt compressors and EQs and all that kind of stuff already inbuilt into the interface, so 0 latency essentially.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot going on. And it is pretty good quality stuff, although it can be quite finicky with things like Thunderbolt, in my experience with Brown's Synergy Core stuff. It sounds good. I just wish they'd sort out their marketing with things like don't charge $200 for a plugin that should come with it. The plugin in question is because it comes with all these inbuilt effects. Usually you have to kind of go through those effects to record it, but there is a plugin they've made called FX to DAW, which kind of pulls them in like plugins.
Yep.
But if you get that on a lot of their interfaces, it costs £200 just to get that when it should have already come with the interface. Because it's like, surely that's one of the selling points of your product.
Yeah, that's not cool, is it?
No. Yeah. Oh, and also, yeah, and Glenn's video that got released today, which I knew about ahead of time because I edited it. Yeah, you agreed to a license. Oh, phone call.
Stu Tomlinson would like to talk to Liam Wright.
This might be important. He doesn't usually call. I'm just going to mute myself.
Okay. So, Marty has just said in the chat, in the license, when you use Antelope, you agree that if you stop using the hardware, then you're not allowed to use their software or something like that. Oh, no, yeah. So, no, it's the other way around. If you stop using their software, you're not allowed to use the hardware either, which is just ridiculous. They need to sort that out because it's not doing them any favors at all. I don't have any negative experience myself with Antelope, but I'm hearing far too many issues. with others now, and people that I know and trust are having issues with them. So it's all getting a little bit like, come on, guys, straighten this out. You are capable of straightening this out. So, yeah, come on. So, let's move on. Tascam, I've presented the Mixcast 4, a podcast studio in a box, which looks strangely like the Rode Podcaster Pro, but a little bit smaller. So it's got a mixer for 4 microphones and other audio sources, pads to trigger music and sound effects, built-in multi-track recording and USB audio. So it really is a kind of an equivalent of that, yeah. All good? All good?
Yeah, no, it just turned out it was Stu, one of the other YouTube channels that I work with. There's just done a podcast with a very famous WWE star who's just said that his entire style for the past 4 years has come from watching his YouTube channel.
Wow.
Which is pretty cool.
That's amazing.
So he was just calling me up giggling.
That's awesome. Gotta love it when stuff like that happens.
Yeah.
So
what's this? This looks pretty.
Yeah, so this is Tascam's straight up copy of the Rodecaster Pro.
Right.
So it's Tascam's Mixcast 4 inputs and like USB and phone and Bluetooth and fader for the mix things where you can add effects and music. So it is almost exactly a rip-off of the Podcaster Pro, the Rodecaster Pro.
I mean, I don't know. The UI looks a little bit. But the one thing I'd say about the Rodecaster is I don't feel it's as simple to use as it should be.
Yes.
I feel it's a little overcomplicated and a little just unergonomic. I think. I don't know. It just it's not intuitive.
You're right. I found with it, because I've used it a couple of times, like the screen's in the wrong place, the buttons are way too big. They don't need to be like fist sized.
Yeah, I found myself getting a bit confused. Just like, I can usually figure out most bits of tech like that to get to the base level, but just getting the base use out of it, or what I was trying to do of just getting it to work as a 2-channel. I mean, I was on a Mac as well, which doesn't help. Like, I don't like Mac's audio system.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that was probably part of it, but yeah. So, I mean, but this kind of, I don't know. It looks like, because these sort of boxes are designed obviously for podcasters that aren't music techs at heart, aren't they?
Yeah, that's right.
But to give you that use that you can do a lot of this with a more complicated desk or in software, but this gives you that hardware and okay, press these buttons. It's all easy. It's a simplicity like you're talking about with the pedals. So I don't know. This looks like it might be a bit more straightforward.
I hope so. I'm not seeing anything that would make it easier, though, in terms of like setting up compressors and things, because they all have solo buttons, which is useful for if someone's monitoring on headphones, but less useful when you're trying to record a podcast. They all have mute buttons, which is extremely useful. Hopefully, these at the bottom are touch capacitive, which will bring them up on screen. Because if there's things like gates, compressors, all that kind of EQ and stuff in there, you're going to need to have access, and controlling that stuff on a touch screen can be infuriating. Oh, hang on. I was about to look at the price. So, €629. So it's £100 dearer than the Rodecaster Pro. Oh, in that case, yeah, there's no way in heck I'm getting one of these. Sorry, guys, but if you're trying to compete with somebody with a product that already exists and you put it out at a higher price,
well, maybe it's better.
Maybe it is, but it can't be that much better because the Rodecaster Pro is pretty good. That's the problem, is that apart from the unergonomic thing, which we agree on, it's pretty hard to beat the Rodecaster Pro.
Yeah, it does what it does well.
Yeah.
It just doesn't do it as easy as it should.
No, it's true. But once it's up and running, it's the sound quality is great. And I mean, I would fully accept that to get the next level of sound quality above a Rodecaster Pro, we're putting a 0 on the end of the price.
Yeah.
because it's the law of diminishing returns, and what I call the price curve.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And
I
so
agree.
it sounds more than good enough for that price. Anything beyond that is just like, yeah, killing it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, if you really want one, go and check one out. But there you go. Now you know about it. Moving on. So let's put that one next. Austrian Audio has now debuted its new OD 505 and OC 707 microphones,
Okay.
and I want them
Why do you want them?
because they look really pretty.
Okay.
They've got this weird thing where the microphone basket stops and then there's a hole behind it, so you can see behind the microphone element right there.
All right.
I think that's going to really, really help with the sound, because a lot of the time with handheld mics, what actually happens is when you make noise, it goes in and it all kind of collects in there and bounces around and causes weird ringing artifacts and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
This is a really good way for it to provide loads of clarity, because any air that goes in will just sail through.
Right.
So there's no like pressure build up, which should, in theory at least, unless you've got someone who like grips the mic like, should give you a nice extra clarity on that vocal. So yeah, it's a really unusual design. I'm not expecting these to be cheap, and they are not. The dynamic is 230 quid and the condenser is 360. But there's a market for that level of handheld mic if the quality's there. I know that Neumann do their KSM 104 and 105, which are more expensive than this. They're like 500 quid, 500 euros. And so they are ridiculous money, but they're the kind of vocal mic where people like, say, Adele goes out on tour with them, and the vocal quality is pristine. They're the kind of vocal mic where you can just take a feed off of that for a recording session, and it sounds like a studio mic because essentially inside it is. So yeah, it's something that will definitely be worth comparing to lower price mics and other design mics.
Mm-hmm.
I've just got in a Sennheiser MD435 mic, which is in this price range.
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't sure at first. I was like, well, why would you bother with paying this much for a vocal mic? Then I plugged it in and compared it to something else, and it just sounded like I was on the radio.
Mm-hmm.
You know, where some of the cheaper mics, they sound okay, but you've got to work for it. You've got to make it something usable. This particular one, I plugged it in and just straight, I was just like, I'm done. Yes. Sometimes that's what you want. I mean, I don't understand why singers don't pay that much money. I mean, they're all about the ego and the kind of look at me and how good I sound.
Yeah.
I mean, if the guitarist paying $2,000 for an amp and $2,000 for a guitar, why can't the singer spend 500 quid on a microphone?
Well, yeah.
So, yeah, there you go. There should be a market for it, but because singers are cheap asses, there kind of isn't. But Austrian Audio are hoping to capture some of the nicer, higher quality range. So there you go. If that sounds like something for you, check that out. Oh, Vandine says at least it's got somewhere for all the slaver to drain out if you do grab the mic. Yeah, horrible. So, Rhodes has begun teasing its forthcoming electric piano. Not Fender Rhodes, the actual Rhodes company. Although it was Fender Rhodes at one point, it's now Rhodes Music Group.
Okay.
And yeah, Rhodes pianos are the ones where it is actually an acoustic mechanical piano, but it's an electric piano at the same time. They've got their own sound, a Rhodes piano, and I love the sound of Rhodes pianos. Especially on kind of chilled out music, they just fill a really nice space. But yeah, the real ones just have something about them that a plug-in just doesn't quite do.
I mean, I think. Oh.
Hello?
Yep.
Hello.
I hear you.
Okay, cool.
Let's
I
check
think
that
I think I unplugged the mic accidentally.
Yeah, I mean, I think a very, very high quality piano has a sound that is it's gonna be very hard to replicate. I would agree with that.
Mm. Well, the Fender Rhodes especially, it's hard to describe because it's not really a piano, even though it is a piano.
All right.
You'd know the sound of a Fender Rhodes if I sent it to you, because a lot of them have got like an auto panner on or something. They've got lost sound. No, we're back. Yeah. So they just have a quick search of Fender Rhodes and just see what you hear, because there is a sound to it that is just all its own. Hello, Bommel. Hello, everybody. Yes, we lost sound for a second, but that's just because I'm an idiot and I touched the USB cable, which is falling apart because I'm brutal with it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's that sound. That's a Rhodes.
Okay. Wait, but this is analog.
Yeah, that's a real analog instrument.
Huh.
So the Rhodes piano was designed years.
Wow.
Well, actually, a really good example is "Riders on the Storm" by The Doors. That's a Rhodes. That. Let's not play that on stream because that's a really good way to get a copyright strike. But all the stuff from The Doors was using the bass version of a Rhodes on his left hand. So they were designed because people who came home from the war had some serious injuries and were resting in bed for weeks at a time.
Mm-hmm.
And so musical therapy was used, but trying to wheel a real piano up to people was annoying everybody. So this guy designed this kind of piano thing where it strikes what's called a tine, which is like, when you get a ruler and you boing it on the end of a desk.
Yeah.
Imagine that, but a really fancy one. And then one on each key, but they don't make much noise, but they're all connected to a board, which is connected to an output, so like a headphone output or a speaker. So it's a real analog piano, but it's an electrical output rather than making acoustic noise.
Mm.
Yeah, and it's got a sound all its own, and I love the sound of them.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I did not realize that sound, which you're right, I've heard before, definitely.
Yeah. Everybody's heard it, but it's just not knowing what it is.
Yeah, I would have said it was some form of synth, like 100%.
But yeah, they were made 20, 30 years before synths were a thing.
Wow. Yeah. It's got almost like double note, as you say, in the panning, like, yeah.
Yeah, so
Cool.
that's just a tremolo effect that's built into some of the models of Rhodes, so it gives you that deedle thing kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so good.
Beautiful.
And because it's an electric out, you can actually run it through like guitar effects, stomp boxes, and that kind of thing. So you can really go to town with messing around with how crazy it sounds.
Mm-hmm.
There's a video on our channel actually of me playing with an Arturia version of the Rhodes and getting some really big like film sounds out of it. So check that out. And last but not least, Sequential, the people who make the Prophet, and we've talked about them and Behringer and copyright and all that stuff many times, have now made a compact polysynth called the Take 5. They have announced it is official. This is a real thing. And yeah, it's not got all the crazy like CV and gate ins and outs, so it's not meant to be modular. This is meant to be kind of its own thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks like it's got a lot of the sounds available that Sequential are known for, but in a much more affordable, compact type setup by the looks of things.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that looks really cool. Let's see what it's capable of. So yeah, it's got fewer octaves than usual, but of course you can do octave up and down buttons on synths like this.
Mm-hmm.
Raoul says, I know Hammond is a bit different, but should it be a bit like that? No, a Hammond is a completely different thing.
Mm.
the way a Hammond organ works, instead of with a sorry, just to go back to the Rhodes thing, with the Rhodes, let's say you've got a piece of metal and a hammer. So when you press the key, it hits the piece of metal. It goes dong. The way that a Hammond organ works, every key has a tone wheel that spins around all the time. So it's got a motor that's going all the time, and then as you play on that, it opens up the tone wheel and grinds the sound out. Very different. Yeah, completely different designs. The Hammond is meant to sound like an organ. The Rhodes is meant to sound like a piano. Neither sounds like its counterpart, but they've got their own completely unique voices and characters because of that. In my studio, if I could, I'd have a Hammond and a Rhodes. But, you know, that's getting silly money at this point. And space. Yeah. I'd love them both. But, yeah, don't have the space. Oh, Al's just lost power in his house. Oh, dear. Well, no. We'll have to do the last bit in the dark.
Quick, get a power bank for your phone. Watch on your phone.
Yeah, he just said he's watching on his phone, yeah.
Good, man.
Yes. So, yeah, let's see how much this costs. So it's got 5 voices from 2 oscillators and a sub, 4-pole filter that's based on the Prophet 5. So it sounds like it can do a lot of the stuff that the Prophet can do. But, €1,300 instead of the much, much more that the full-size sequential Prophet costs. So, yes. Nice. According to Toman, the Take 5 is £1,111. 1111. Which, fun fact, 11111111 was a product key that worked for Windows 95. Actually worked. Just jammed in all ones. There's a whole video about it, but there's apparently, yeah, you can do that. But yeah, apparently the Prophet Revision 2 isn't much more expensive, but who's that according to? I don't know. Yeah, apparently it's got a low split mode with got different zones and different octave ranges. Interesting. But yeah. I need to go to bed.
I know, man.
Oh boy. So that's because I was up early this morning. We were on a film set, and then I got back, had to stick a thing up my nose, eat a cold slab of meat, and then go on stream. Oh boy. But yeah, if you're a synth nerd, that's not cheap, but not entirely unreasonable if you're a synth nerd and you really, really want something from Sequential Circuits in your studio. So go get that. So that was the end of the news. Unfortunately, there was no Behringer news this week. Just a little bit of a shame. Boo. Boo indeed. They've been keeping quiet while I've been in Germany because they knew what would happen. We would come and find them and berate them. And do the finding and berating. Yes, so although I was working on an X32 desk earlier today, and that actually worked rock solid. So, yeah. Yes, Van Dien's giving some really good examples in the chat of Rhodes classic kind of songs. Yes. Anyone got any questions about Gear Street, about the new pedal? Which, for anyone who's come in late, I got this. One of 2 in the world right now, the Amplitude X Vibe. I am really happy to be playing with stuff that is like brand new. We were casting doubt on it a couple of weeks ago, but now I've tried it in person. Doubt no more. It's brilliant. I mean, there's lots of subtleties that I'm getting to learn about it as well, because I mean they've not even done the manual yet. But if I press let's say the middle button, then that button, these are all presets, so that's gone green. If I screw around with the preset a bit, it goes yellow. So you know that you kind of I started on this one, but I've screwed with it. So if it's not sounding right, then I should probably just kind of switch back. Subtle little things. So what was the score with Henning's Wi-Fi /internet? He had Wi-Fi/internet, and it was good if you were in very certain specific places, which were not places that were really good to do a podcast in. That was part of the problem. So we have like a tent where everyone kind of hides when it's raining, and also where all the guitars and pedals go when we're not filming. Then there's the actual filming stages, but where the interviews are done usually is from an area that we call the post office, which apparently used to be the local post office and is underneath Henning's house. Typical small village mentality. But yeah, we tried to get a live video going a couple of times and we just couldn't make it work. So I could probably have really got it to work if I wasn't really ill as well. But I kind of had a head full of cotton wool and I was trying different things, and eventually I just went and lied down because I needed to. So yeah, a couple of late nights on that one. But yeah, I got to meet people like Perfecto de Castro. He was really cool. And yes, that's his real name, Perfecto. Perfecto de Castro the Fourth. What a legend he was. Writes original Filipino rock music. But he can play as well. But yeah, so that's it. So we went and I laid down for a bit and then went and filmed more videos. So I filmed 10 videos of my own, maybe 9. And was in several more and got to meet all these lovely companies and try all their wonderful equipment, and hopefully we'll be now bringing you more videos from these companies as time progresses, because I made some lovely acquaintances, new contacts. It's funny, the IK Multimedia and the Amplitude thing, you always assume with a company like that they're in some like ivory tower and that it's completely unreachable. And then you meet the people and they're just really cool people, and they're like, oh yeah, sorry I couldn't get to your email, I was mad busy. Let's go out for a drink. And you're like, yeah, all right, cool. And yeah, so it turns out, yeah, Fabrizio and Tia from IK Multimedia, lovely couple of people. And so yeah, we got chatting in person, yeah. Oh, Raoul, the jam session. Yes, the jam session. There was one jam session because we tried, that was on the Saturday night. We tried to do one on the Sunday, and on the Sunday, the whole hotel was essentially just shut because Germany shuts on a Sunday. It's really quite backwards, but yeah. Apparently, if you want anything on a Sunday, tough. Good luck. It's just a cultural thing. But yeah, on the Saturday, it turns out the hotel had an entire stage with a drum kit, bass amp, 2 guitar amps, microphones, all ready to go. So we talked to the owner and he was like, yeah, all right, cool. So being the bass player, I got to play with Paul Davids, Perfecto de Castro, Jamie Humphries. Who else got on stage? I think Cranar Silky got on stage. Quite a lot of them were really scared to come up, which surprised me.
That's weird.
Some people were like, oh, I'm tired, and some people were just like, oh, I'm going out for a smoke or whatever. So there were some excuses, but no, it's funny that some of the cracking guitarists were just right on the ball. But yeah, I do remember at one point playing Enter Sandman with Jamie Humphries and Perfecto de Castro trading off solos. That was awesome.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, that's the best thing for me sometimes with stuff like this about being a bass player, is when you've got 15 or 20 guitarists around and you can only get 1 or 2 on stage at once. I'm just stood there just like, yeah, I'm going to keep going. Poo Ninja says, who drummed? So, Joey from Spectre Digital played drums. So Glenn took Alex Nasler and Joey from Spectre Digital, who were the brand guys, because Spectre were one of the brands representing this year. So yeah, Joey was really nice. He was mostly a death metal drummer and a programmer, but yeah, it was good. Marty says, how was Trey Xavier, and is that his real name? Not going to comment on the real name thing, but he was actually really nice. He came in with the big kind of big American I am, and by day 2, we're sat there in a quite quiet time, just noodling on guitar, and just had a real talk, and turns out he's actually just really nice. But of course, Poonie just says, I'm still possibly Michiel. Michiel is the guy who organizes most of the people at Gear Street. What a legend he is, just trying to wrangle 15 to 20 useless YouTubers around. God, we're like cats. Yeah, because that's the thing. There are only so many film studios. There's only so many hours in the day that we all want to do these videos. And so we had an online system where we could actually book in and make sure everyone was in. And even then, it was chaos. Christ on a bike. Because, yeah, I mean, I've been before. Some of them haven't been before. Some of them just, not the most technology focused people. Like, good examples, my mate Jamie Humphreys. He's brilliant as a guitarist. He's not the most techie person in the world. Yeah, bless him. So you chased him around going, Jamie, you're supposed to be in that room now. It says so on my phone. But yeah, we made it work. And in the end, everything was great. Rob says I'm going to try out for Steel Panther because their bass player just left.
All right.
No. I could not, for the life of me, keep up with the Steel Panther life. No way. Oh, not even for a minute. I don't even like Steel Panther's music. I'm sure they're fine. I'm sure other people like it. I was never a big fan of 80s hair metal and that kind of thing anyway. So, yeah, it wasn't my scene. Actually, to be fair, the guys in Steel Panther are insanely good at what they do. I just don't like the thing they do. But yeah.
It's fair. It's allowed.
Yeah, personal preference, that's all. I know that Glenn really likes them because they've done stuff with like pedals with ridiculous names that get them banned off Reverb, which means they all sell out instantly. Ding. Is that the podcast ending sound?
It's just I never stop working sound.
Yeah. Speaking of which, I need to go and never stop working. I've got all my footage to arrange from this week because I've not had a chance yet. I managed to check last night that I had all my footage. Now I've got to go through and line it all up so I can go. So, yes. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. And I am absolutely exhausted. Hopefully, I'll have more pep in my step by this time next week. When you will have seen at least one video come out on the channel, because I've got so much almost finished that we're going to be back on regular schedule by next Tuesday. And then just thinking about it, you know what's next Thursday?
Day before your wedding?
Day before the wedding. Maybe we could do a podcast from the studio. You and me. Get a drink.
Yeah, of course we can, yeah.
Yes.
Do a proper drink along.
Yes, absolutely. Oh, I'm going to be hungover on my wedding day. Hey.
Well, I guess we're not going out then.
We can go out afterwards.
Possibly.
Well, 8 till 9 and then go out for one drink and come back after the famous one drink.
Yeah. Dude, it's your night, whatever you want to do.
Oh, don't say that. It's tempting. Anyway,
right, well,
awesome.
Yes, we will see you in some fashion next week.
Oh, also news. On Monday, all being well, I will be editing the first single by a band called Warlow, which is Chris from Jupiter FX's band.
Ooh.
Yes, kind of psychedelic doom grunge stuff.
Cool.
So yeah, we'll see how that goes. And then we'll go and get hammered, steaming drunk on Thursday. So, awesome.
Sounds good.
We'll see you all very soon. Goodbye.
Bye, everyone.
Hey, everyone. That might be the end of the video, but if you fancy carrying on this conversation, we have a Discord server. Link is in the description. We're also on Patreon, which is something you can really help us with. We also are on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Hot Pole Studios.